Okay, so we're recording, but obviously I can chop whatever I need to out. So.
You'll be chopping and changing, will you?
Yeah. Right, go for Josh.
Ready?
Yep.
Welcome back to the Delusionals, Season 2, the home of deluded football chat. And we're here with back with James, and we've got a very special guest with Graham. We've got Nottingham Forest chat for you today. We've got some Arsenal chat, some Aston Villa chat as usual. Going to chat through bottom 3, top 4, and our top goal scorers for the season. But James, over to you.
Yeah. How is everyone?
Not bad.
I'm all good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Excited for the season.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does it feel? Your first. When was the last time Forest were in the Premier League?
23 years ago.
Oh wow! So who was around then? Who was around?
Names you wouldn't even know. And it was just I prefer not to think about those days.
Was it a bad season? Like, did you get was it like bottom of the table when you got relegated, or was it like?
Yeah. And we had player strikes. We had countless managers. David Platt and all
Big
that.
case.
Yeah. Joe Kinnear, Ron Atkinson. Okay. It all rolls into one.
Wow. So who's he? I forgot who Forest got first game. Is it Newcastle?
Newcastle. So it'll probably be our last Saturday 3:00 kickoff. Until probably January or whatever.
Yeah, you reckon it'll be on TV all
as you
time?
guys already know. Yeah.
So are you? You can't watch the game, but do you have any kind of do you think it's going to get off to a good start?
Honestly, I've really well. You know what's happened at Forest. We've been very bold with our signings, and the worst thing we could have done.
12
yeah,
players, I think.
12. I mean, that we could talk all night about. We needed it. It's no different to when Villa came up. It's not quite the same as Fulham and all the things you've read about. But the key will be whether Cooper can gel them. But I think we'll do okay. I think the first 6 games, we're looking at those, and Fulham, Bournemouth, and Leeds are winnable. Man City's probably not at this stage. So,
definitely.
I think we could. I think with the U4, we could come away with something on Saturday afternoon. But if it's hot weather and the screaming Geordies and that, we could equally lose 3-4-0. But say it very much depends. None of us really know. So it's just fascinating.
It's the home games, really, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
they're the key for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. And Josh, what's your feelings on Arsenal so far? How's your pre-season been? How's the transfer window been?
It's been a really interesting pre-season, actually. There's been quite a lot of changes that I kind of loosely messaged you about. We haven't spoken much about. Quite notably on the back line, so the defenders are going to be sort of moving about to where they were last year. So last year we had Ben White and Gabriel playing sort of both together at centre back, but it looks like Saliba's come straight back from loan and taken that centre back spot. I know it's only pre-season. You don't play many good teams, but we played Chelsea, we played Everton, and through the entire pre-season, he didn't get beaten once. He didn't get beaten in a one-on-one, and just statistically was pretty good, and looked like he's taken that spot. So it looks like we're going to probably be lining up against Palace on Friday with Gabriel at centre back, Saliba at centre back. Ben White looks like he's going to move more solidly to right back, which is interesting as well. And Zinchenko is in with a very good shout of starting at left back. The second City signing that we brought in.
Ben White right back's an interesting one, because is he much like a? Do you play with wing backs? Is he like a? Does he
play attacking wing backs? We do play attacking wing backs, and that's why it's interesting. I think I read a really interesting Athletic article the other day that was talking about how managers are now looking at player traits more than they are looking at specific positions, and they're like, this guy can run, this guy can cross, he can play right back, right wing, whatever, and they're kind of like making players a little bit more positionless. I think he's not going to be like as direct running with the ball at his feet as Tomiyasu was, but if he can get sort of up there, put a cross in and track back, I know he can do the defensive duties because he was pretty good at centre back. So it's going to be an interesting change. But he has played right back as well. It is his second position. He has played a bit of right back before, and he may not be traditionally wing back style, but he might be able to morph into that kind of player because he's a pretty athletic guy. Zinchenko then at left back, Partey and Xhaka at centre mid. We may still be looking to bring in a centre mid before the end of the window. We were linked heavily early in the window with Yuri Tielemans from Everton, Belgian international, young centre mid.
I think Chelsea are linked with him, right?
Well, they valued him at 30 million, and we basically were going to sign. We were pretty like hot on him early in the window, and then no other team were interested at all. So we then basically said, fine, well, we're going to move on to our other business and then kind of pick him up at the end if we can get him at the end. So possibly we'll bring him in towards the end of the window. Chelsea maybe have linked with him recently. I haven't been keeping massively up with the last few days of transfer talk, but may see that come in. But at the moment, for the meantime, it's going to be Xhaka or Partey, and then up top, it's obviously the big signing with Nketiah getting re-signed and Gabriel Jesus leading the line now.
Jesus, such a good signing.
Scored so many goals in pre-season. He's clinical. He's finished. We made chances last year when we had Lacazette in there and we had Aubameyang for the start of the year. But they just weren't clinical. They weren't finishing the chances off. And in pre-season, we kind of seen that he gets in those positions and he's clinical. He finishes them. He scored a hat-trick in his first game at the Emirates against Sevilla, in the pre-season game. Again, pre-season, can't read too much into it, but it's better than him scoring 0 goals for his first 5 or 6 games. And he's just going to have great players around him. He's got Saka coming in off the right. We've got Smith Rowe we can rotate in, Odegaard. We've got Martinelli. We've got Pepe that can come off a bench. We've got some
you
guys.
Got a squad all of a sudden, haven't you? I mean, you were struggling in the end of last season when you had like a couple of injuries, and then all of a sudden you basically had no one to play.
Well, if you look back to some of the old podcasts, when we were looking in the transfer window and stuff, I was saying this season here is the first season with Arteta's full squad. He's got rid of all of the shit that he inherited with Emery. He's got rid of Kolasinac on 130k a week. He's got rid of Socrates on 100k a week. He's got rid of Aubameyang on 350k a week. Ozil 350k. He's got rid of all of that. All of the deadwood that he didn't want is gone, and he's brought in his players. And this is the first full season with his squad. So I think it's going to be a really exciting season for Arsenal. And the league are trying to fuck us again with an opening night fixture on the road to a tough team, but we'll see if we can make it work against Palace on Friday. But
Derby as well. Derby first game of the season.
They gave us a Brentford opening game last year away. They beat us. Then they gave us Palace away first game of the season this year.
Yeah,
they want us to drop points.
I could I could see Palace getting a result as well because they're no mugs under Vieira.
No, they're not at all. And at Palace first game of the season, their fans are going to be right up for it. It's going to be a tough place to go. But last thing on Arsenal as well is the All or Nothing coming out tomorrow. It's going to be very exciting. We're going to get a real look at last year's team, so that's going to be good fun to watch.
I saw that. That's going to be really interesting to watch. Actually, you're going to be watching that on your Graham. You watch a lot of like the Amazon Prime All or Nothing stuff.
Yeah, they fascinate me. The greatest one's been Simeone, but I did see they were sort of promoting it on BBC One breakfast of all places this morning and interviewing Arteta. So it's going to be pretty fascinating how he comes across.
Yeah, I think that will be cool. In terms of Forest signings so far, Graham, like you said, you got about 12 signings because obviously you missed out on Jed Spence. So who have you got at right back now for the coming season?
Nico Williams, the lad.
Of course, from Liverpool.
Liverpool, played at Fulham, Welsh international, highly rated. Klopp rates him highly, but I think the lad himself, from what I understand, wanted to move on and sort of forge his own career away from Anfield to get opportunities. Big friends with Brennan Johnson, I think. I think he'll link up just as well, like Jed Spence. So, who knows? In the end, it may be an upgrade. Who knows? But I think that's a really positive signing. Other signings in defence, we can perm sort of four centre backs now, and I don't think it's, I don't think Worrell and Cook and McKenna, are assured of the places. I think there's the other lad, Musa is Natike, whatever it is. I can't sort of pronounce his name yet because I've not heard enough games to know what the correct pronunciation is. But he's coming from the Bundesliga. As well, so we're looking good in defence.
Of your 12 signings, how many would you say are starters, or is that still pretty too early to tell? Or
I would say the forward Iwoni he's a starter. Nico Williams is a couple of midfielder. It's difficult with the lads from Huddersfield because most of them they're not. proven in the Premier League, are they? But on the basis that from the playoff final team, there's 7 players who are no longer with us or available, or have been moved on, if you like, then I think there's going to be at least half a dozen start on Saturday. That obviously includes a keeper. There's 2 things you need in a league. You need in the Premier League, or the first division that used to be years ago, was a good goalkeeper and somebody who can score your goals. And we've got 2 good goalkeepers, proven performers, and this guy Awoni up front scored 15 last year in the Bundesliga. I think we signed him because he's a counter-attacking centre forward, so we realise we're not going to see as much of the ball as we did in the Championship. So I'm pretty hopeful. I still think there's an area there. We need another one, and I read today where the lad from Wolves, Gibbs White, Wolves sort of stroke Sheffield United, is still on the table. So
that's been droning on since the start of the window. I think since the end of last season,
and it's coming back again. It's coming back again now. So I think it really will be a whole new team. I think he'll give Yates a go in midfield for a start. There's a lot of talk locally about are some of our lads, homegrown lads, good enough and all the rest of it. But they'll get a chance to start. But I don't think Cooper's given too much away in pre-season with the team selections and things. I think his key is with 12 new signings. How's he going to bed them in?
And you need to bed them in quick as well. That's the thing, because I think I don't know how much you got done early, but I think it's been kind of it wasn't that early, right? Because you had the playoff final, so you didn't actually have that much time to do it. I think that's going to be key. And also, I was trying to think about your signings. I was like, there's not actually that much proven Premier League experience, is there? They're all kind of like from Bundesliga and stuff. So, it'll be interesting to see how you bet in.
Yeah.
But hopefully you don't have too much of a stuttery start, because that can always bang the pressure on a little bit for managers and new Premier League teams. But we'll see how it goes.
Tell me about it. Last season for Arsenal was exactly that.
Well, you were relegation.
3 or 4 losses on the bounce. We were talking about survival. That's all we cared about.
I mean, of course, our relative, when we talk about signings, our first home game is West Ham. And I guess the elephant in the room is Lingard.
Jay Lings.
Jay Lings. And I guess he's the only, proven, not forgetting the goal, other than the goalkeepers. He's the one with the proven Premiership experience and record, and obviously England career, and probably the one with the most to prove as well. So, and I think if he can show some leadership, and he's saying the right things and he's talking the talk, you'd expect him, a dozen goals and assists to go along with it as well. It could be a real win-win for us, that one.
Did you have any feelings on that contract? It's such a strange contract. It's like a 100,000 1-year deal. It's almost like a prove it deal. It's like, prove what you're going to be worth next year. Either stay with us or go somewhere else if you are unbelievable.
Yeah,
really interesting one.
It's a strange one, because I think if you probably look on the, there's obviously a competitor, the BBC, the Football Daily. Darren Fletcher did a one dedicated to Forest probably a couple of days ago, and he had Lingard on there talking, and he did mention his family, he mentioned his daughter, and he mentioned, speaking to Steve Cooper and, interested in the project as they call it these days. But it was interesting. There's a good article in the Telegraph today by John Percy saying, West Ham offered him 127,000 grand a week. We offered 80. They offered him £1 million sort of signing on fee and a long contract. And we just sort of we've got this arrangement where, there's no commitment either way. If it doesn't work out after a year, as a free agent again. What it didn't say is what the signing on fee would be. So I imagine there's a lump sum there somewhere. So it's a real strange one. I just hope he can settle down, start well, and cut out the noise. And we get over the West Ham game. You can imagine what's going to happen there with the West Ham fans and everything else that goes with it, and Sky, and because I think that's it's 2 o'clock kickoff on a Sunday.
Yeah, they weren't going to miss that one, were they?
No. But we were together, James, when it was all taking place, if you remember. And
yeah, we were.
We all
Yeah,
raised eyebrows, and I think at
I
the
was
time
very surprised.
I was a bit underwhelmed, thinking, what they're using. I felt we were being maybe used a little bit to up the ante.
I remember having a conversation with you, and you were going, "Is he really the player we need? Is he really the player we need?" And then you signed him, and then he was like, "Oh well, if he can do a job like."
We all remember World Cup. Yeah, you have to when they get on board. You have to, don't you? I think I felt at the time we were probably being used with, with sort of upping the ante for his salary. But when he talks, the Marinakos, the owner, spoke to him personally. They whisked him away to London and in private offices and did the deal very quickly. And he said, talking to Steve Cooper, this is the interesting one for me. He said and now with Steve Cooper, really sort of convinced him. And I think he's the gem we've got, Cooper. You can really see him managing at a high level.
Yeah, he's been brilliant since he came in for you, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's interesting because, like I said, I had a friend who's a Swansea fan, and he was like, "Yeah, get ready for. He'll get you some results, but it'll be really mediocre football." But it doesn't seem to be the case at all.
I remember you saying that. I suppose the difference is when, at Forest, we've had mediocre football for many years, and on the back of 7 straight defeats, Cooper's first game we drew 1-1 against Millwall. That was utopia. We got a point kind of thing. So, but it's it's been very attractive. It's been the best I've seen down there since Billy Davis's years. They were good, entertaining years.
Yeah.
They were controversial. There was nothing like a Billy Davis team and two playoff semi-finals, but and then nothing. Flirting with Division 1 for a couple of years, and then this. It was just unbelievable.
Well, that's probably the other thing. Yeah, I mean, last season it's not just the fact you came up, but the way you came up. You were bottom of the league. Was it September? I think.
Yeah.
Late
6 straight
September?
defeats. Yeah, 1 point out of 7.
Yeah, I was like, you're done. You're gone. Like it was really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came in. He didn't really sign anyone, right? Like I think you signed. Obviously, you signed Keenan Davis from our place, and you signed. I can't remember who else you brought in, but you didn't drastically change the squad. You just
came. No, the sort of Jed Spence and Max Lowe, the back four kind of thing. We're all sort of there beforehand. So credit to probably Houghton or whoever saw something in Spence. But no, he only made minor tweaks, and the lads he brought in January, weren't always necessarily starters. He just added to the squad, and he got this togetherness and team spirit where we didn't look like we were going to get beat. If we went 1-0 down, we thought we could equalise. James, you were there against QPR.
QPR. And Jed Spence with that absolute belter on the edge of the box. It was brilliant.
Yeah, after a first half that we played okay, then went in half time 1-0 down, and then destroyed them second half. And that's the kind of performance that he, somehow he's put that together. And I don't see it, I don't see it changing much in the Premier League in respect of the spirit. And my sense is with Cooper, we won't go out on a whimper. Even if we do, if the worst does happen, it won't be a whimper.
I think the key is you won't concede too many. I think that's after to the teams that struggle are the ones that come up and want to play their attacking, attractive football, and they can't keep them out, and they're not going to score as many. So, but like I think I've said to you before, I think my biggest concern with you guys is goals. You need the striker who's going to get you them goals, and they did dry up a little bit towards the end of last season. It kind of I think Brennan got found out and stuff, and they were marking Spence and stuff. So you gotta hope Williams can kind of show the same spark. But
yes,
yeah.
Speaking of strikers, James, there's a new number 9 at Villa Park, isn't there?
Oh, what, Danny Ings?
Yeah,
it's not a new striker, but yeah, he's got a new shirt number. That's about it. Yeah. I suppose we can get onto Villa, but it's been a roller. It all kind of like kicked off and went very early. We signed obviously Coutinho full time. Boubacar Kamara, who I think is going to be one
I
of
love
the
that
two.
deal. Yeah, I love that
Free.
deal.
Free.
Yeah, it's
Like,
such
it
a
didn't
good
cost
deal.
anything. He's kind of like the miss. We feel like it could be the missing link. We've been saying for years we need a good, solid DM. We had obviously Douglas Luiz, who's different gravy. Like, he's such a good player, but he's not a defensive midfielder. That's not where he excels. He excels pushing a bit further forward. So hopefully this will allow him to push on. I think it's interesting because I think it's between him and Ramsey alongside McGinn. Obviously, he's given McGinn the captaincy. That's another big roller coaster this summer where Mings has been stripped of it. You got John McGinn, captain. You got Emi Martinez and Diego Carlos as kind of like vice captains. So that kind of like central spine now is looking really strong as well. Like our defensive back four, like we brought Diego Carlos at centre back. I think Mings is going to be fighting for his place. I think it's going to be Carlos, and I actually like Carlos and Chambers personally. I think Chambers has been absolutely brilliant whenever he's come in. I think he's been fantastic. You've got Conso alongside him, who's kind of a bit on and off sometimes. Cash and Digne, wing backs. I think Cash is just getting better every season.
Yeah, Matty Cash has been awesome.
He's looked so good pre-season as well. He's just still just his delivery, man. Just his final ball is still
Cash?
not quite there. Oh, he's not that old, is he? I think he's like 24, 25. Is he something like that? Matty Cash, very quickly.
Yeah,
Quick Google.
24, yeah.
Yeah, he's not that old.
Yeah, he's still a reasonably young player.
Yeah, definitely. But he's just been around for so long, hasn't he? Now that's the thing. So I think he came onto the scene. Was he like 20 for your lot or something, or 19? Yeah, he was quite young. So him and Digne bombing down those wings. I tell you, who's come on like a new signing in pre-season, who isn't a new signing, is Leon Bailey. So Leon Bailey's kind of the forgotten man of Villa. Really, he came in. I think it was around when it was the Grealish deal. We brought in Danny Ings, Buendia, and Bailey. I think it was about 30 million. And he just got injured all the time. He's like he's made out of glass. He got injured once just running back, and I was like, what's going on here? So he kept on getting injured, and then Gerrard said he's looked incredible pre-season. I think he scored 3 or 4 goals in 5 games. He's got like 3 assists. He's just stronger. He looks fast. He looks like he's more confident now. Looks like he trusts his body. Feels like he's not going to get injured. And he's just got an ego about him. He's just got a proper swagger about him. Like he just looks good, really good. So him on the right, probably Coutinho on the left. And that's how we've been playing pre-season anyway. We've been playing actually Coutinho on the wide left, like a 4-3-3.
Are you not playing the central guy anymore?
Well, we kind of seem to switch between a 4-2-1-2. Is that right? Yeah, I think. Is that 4-2-1-2? 4-2-3-2?
No,
4-3-1-2?
4-3-1-2.
Something like that. So we keep switching between that and a 4-3-3. So I think he wants to play with like that kind of like number 10. But I think we look better in a 4-3-3 at the moment, personally. Like I said, Kamara holding in that middle role, and then you've got McGinn and Luiz or Ramsey next to him, and then you got the 3 forwards. I think we just look really balanced that way. I still think we're missing like a number 8. I think we're missing like there's been a lot of talk about us going back for like James Ward-Prowse or something like that, and I feel like we are missing that a little. It's a shame Chukwuemeka, obviously it was yesterday. It's a shame Chukwuemeka's gone because I feel like he could have probably filled that role. Strange one that. Wanted
to play more, goes to Chelsea.
Once regular football goes to Chelsea. I mean, I heard he wanted 100 grand, and I was like, this lad's 18, I think, had 2 Premier League starts. He wants 100 grand a week. That's just ridiculous, really. So I think basically Gerrard was like, I'm not going to be holden to this player. And also, he didn't come on pre-season. He basically said Gerrard said he's had a contract on the table for a while. He's not signed it. I don't think it's right for him to come out to pre-season. So I think he essentially knew I think the
gone,
Chelsea deal's been going through for a little while, basically, and we just haven't known about it. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, Villa. Who else have we signed? Oh, Augustinsson, who's a left back, kind of backup, Champions League experience as well.
Where'd you get
Ollie
him from?
Ashley. Oh, God, Benny, man, now you're asking. Or he's a Swedish international, Ludwig Augustinsson. He's come from. Well, he was in. Oh dear Lord, Google, trying to get through this. He's on loan from Sevilla.
Okay.
But it could be great, and you guys bashed them 5-0, whatever you did. And he could be made permanent, though, I think, at some point. I think that's the plan, maybe. But he's a bit of a utility player. He can play left back, left wing. He can play kind of like central midfield as well. So he's a bit of a mix. But the interesting one's going to be up front. I think that's going to be a really interesting watch this season. So obviously Danny Ings. I think Danny Ings is going to be our main striker this season. I think you ask anyone, usually you play Danny Ings enough, he will score goals. Like he will he will get you double figures. And I think Ollie Watkins, I think there's been a bit of a question mark over him. He hasn't scored in pre-season. He's had quite a few chances as well and hasn't actually managed to score. We've brought finishing coaching to work with him and stuff. It's just still not quite working. I think he's actually better on the left, Ollie Watkins. I think he's better when he's out wide and he kind of cuts in. So I think Danny Ings will be our main number 9. Gerrard's made the choice to not send Archer out on loan. So Cameron Archer, he's like 20, I think now. So he's kind of properly testing him. He was on loan to Preston North End last season, and he did pretty well there. I think they really wanted him. I think actually, if you read some outlets, they said basically everyone in the Championship wants Cameron Archer on loan, essentially. But we've decided to keep him. So it'll be interesting
It
to see
almost
if he
sounds like you're prepping just in case in case it doesn't go to plan with Ollie Watkins, and then you've got backup there at least. You haven't got to sign someone in January.
Possibly. I mean, he's a real natural like striker. He's not like going to drift onto your wings. He's not like a hold up player or anything like that. He's a supernatural striker. His finishing's unreal. I mean, he played against Chelsea, I think, last season in the cup. Or no, the season before in the cup, I think. And he scored a hat trick, if I remember rightly. Like he's just an absolute beast, goal scoring wise, and he's been banging them in pre-season as well. I actually wonder if it's the replacement for Danny Ings, because obviously he's 31, I think now. So you're kind of looking to replace him probably more than Watkins, or if you're going to replace Watkins, it's probably just a simple upgrade. So we'll have to see how that kind of pans out over the course of the season, but. Yeah, really excited for the season. The talk is all about top 8 if we can. My realistic expectation is top 10, I think, is more likely, with a view for next season to really push for that like top 6, top 7 kind of role.
Try to get that extra Europe spot. There's the Conference League now. Just try to grab onto something up there.
The difficulty is now you got to think like Newcastle, who are like going to be kicking on.
It's been a very competitive off-season, and the league is going to be way more competitive, especially in that middle rank of teams. That middle rank of teams has got a lot better, which is why when we get to the relegation chat, it's why I think there's a couple teams that are in real danger of dropping off.
Well, let's go on to that now. Let's go on to relegation kind of candidates. So, Graham, Forest. Are they in that
relegation candidates?
Are they in that chat?
Well, I think you'd always say that out of the 3 teams that come up, there's 1 or 2 of them are going to be relegation candidates. As I said earlier, I don't think Forest will go out with a whimper. I think that there's lots of. I parked in the ground yesterday to go and watch the cricket, and Sky have spent more or less 20 million. I was talking to somebody, putting all the infrastructure in, so that they don't have to bring the van, so they can just plug the wires in, extended the boardroom, the changing rooms, everything else that goes with it. So this season just part of a journey. So what the owner's done, he's back what he said after the playoff final, that he would give Cooper the money to spend. We've spent it, and I think there's more to come. So he supported that. The plans have been accepted for the new, upgrade to the ground. So I'm very optimistic. It just seemed like there's a holistic approach. We've not just gone up and signed 12 players, and the ground and the training ground and everything's the same. It's a real holistic approach to it. Having said all that, yeah, of course, we're going to be looked at as potential relegation candidates, but I think we could surprise a few. And I'd say under Cooper, I don't think we'll go out with a whimper. And if the worst does happen, I think we'll have been competitive at various times of the season. So, my hope would be that we could, 15th, 16th would be utopia. But I hate to put a number on the league position. But I'm pretty sure that Cooper knows he's not worried about Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man U at the minute. He will be targeting games where we think we can get points. And I think there are enough teams.
You don't want it to go down to the last game, do you? That's all you want. It's just you want to be safe by the final weekend.
Yeah, you do. I mean, there are very, sort of close parallels with the way Villa went up and how you guys had to sign players, and we've had to do the same. And your first season was a roller coaster and a sort of
final
squeaky
day.
bum time. Yeah, that's right. So I hope we can achieve something similar, but I don't think. I'm looking at Fulham and Bournemouth and Leeds and thinking, and if Frank doesn't get it right, which I'm not sure he will. There are enough teams where we can be competitive, and sure we will nick the odd point off the big boys as well. We'll surprise a few.
Yeah.
Those four teams that you just mentioned, you just mentioned, are my exact four.
Oh, sorry.
Relegation.
Sorry. Can you cut and edit that bit? Yeah.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I was, Leeds. I mean, everyone knows I hate Leeds, right? So Leeds are always in my bottom three. I feel like I haven't really kept too many tabs on them, but Rafinha and Phillips are just such massive losses for them that I'm not sure how they're going to recover from that personally.
I'm still not sold on Jesse Marsh either.
I was about to say, I don't think we saw enough.
Bottom end, I think at that
There's
bottom
a lot
end
to
of the table,
prove, hasn't he?
There's a lot to prove, and I think at that bottom end of the table, the coach is so important. And I'll pick teams to beat other teams based on the coach if I think they're relatively level. And I think Steve Cooper's great. That's why I don't think Forest will go down, because I think you've got a fantastic coach. And I think he will coach your team to wins better than other coaches will, and he will outcoach other coaches, and that's what will get you points, and that's what you need at that level in the table. You just need to get them scrappy wins and outcoach them.
Yeah, it's a great way of putting it. I think there's a second season syndrome always kicks in. We've seen it before. The latest one's being Sheffield United. So, where's it going to leave Brentford? They had Ericsson, who essentially kept him up on his, carried him on his shoulders for half a season. He's not there now, and I think again we'd be looking. We had lots of battles against Brentford in the Championship over many years, and I'd look at if we play Brentford tomorrow. We'd sort of fancy our chances. So I'm optimistic. As I say, 15th would be nosebleed time. 16th, 17th, we'd take that. But we could. I think we'll surprise the odd team. And the other one, local to me, where I am, local to us is Leicester. He's not signed a player. The keeper's gone. Others are probably going to out the door. And Brendan generally has 2 or 3 years, puts his jigsaw of teams together, then doesn't know how to kick them on to the next level. So, I think Leicester could be struggling as well. So,
really?
That's an interesting one.
I feel like Leicester are mid-table mediocrity. I feel like they're, that 14th to kind of 10th kind of place.
Yeah, maybe so, James. But if you're a Leicester fan, after winning the league and then the FA Cup and having a couple of good European sort of campaigns, would you be happy with that? It seems to be going in the wrong direction for me.
And as we said, that mid pack of teams is significantly improved,
Yeah.
and so they can struggle. You are going to have to fight. It's going to be a
It's
really
so
tough season
tight.
for
Like
everyone.
even like Brighton, for instance, like losing Yves Bissouma is a massive blow for them. And it's just kind of like, I don't know how much they've strengthened either, if I'm honest. But you know,
they'll struggle a bit more if they lose this. If they lose this Cucurella as well, he's meant to be like their best player as well. If they lose Cucurella, then they might struggle a little bit. But that just makes the other team stronger in that case. Like Newcastle could be right up there at the end of the season.
Yeah, they could be second season.
Well, the way they ended last season, Newcastle, if they keep that kind of ascendancy going, they'll do amazing. I think Eddie Howe's done actually a really good job there. I think the point with Eddie Howe is I think he's just brought in like a real kind of togetherness in the team, much like Cooper with Forest. I think he's just brought this kind of like togetherness into the team.
It makes
you were just about to say Brighton. Yeah, you were about to say Brighton, Graham. Sorry, you said.
I think Brighton, that could be a second season syndrome. And, you know, you got Palace, they won't have, you know, Gallagher was the heartbeat last year, wasn't he? And possibly, I don't know too much about Palace. Possibly he's made other signings, but as I think you've both said, there's that middle sort of pack of teams where, you know, I look at those and think, well, on any given Saturday, we could probably, or Sunday afternoon, in our case, or Monday night, we could take points there. So, you know, we've got to be hopeful. You know, the caveat with all that is that it's going to be massively different from the champion. You've been down to watch championship games, James, a lot, and it's chalk and cheese. There's just there is no comparison.
I remember when Villa came back up, and it was first game in the Premier League, and I think it was Everton at home.
Yeah, we went.
Atmospheres. One of the best atmospheres I've seen in Villa Park in ages. And one of the first things you were just like, "Whoa!" You just ping that ball like from a corner to corner. You just like it's just another level.
Yeah, he pinged the ball, and also the player receiving the balls took it under control and moved it in like that. Whereas in the Championship, on some days you can't trap a bag of cement. You know, it's as we used to say.
It's different when you watch it as well, because they'll attempt the same balls in the Championship, like they'll be high and loopy. But when they do it in the Premier League, it's like a low driven.
Yeah, that's
absolute.
So much faster.
You can hear the ball. It's like.
And onto the top half of the table. So kind of like top 4, top 6. What we thinking? Josh, I'll probably go to you first with Arsenal.
Top 2 feels like it's going to be unchanged. That almost feels like it's going to be unchanged for the next 10 years. Liverpool City feel like they're going to be top 2 without a doubt.
What about the order?
In my notebook, I've written Liverpool City, but I don't know if I think it is going to be Liverpool City. It's so tight for me, and 3rd and 4th is really tight for me as well.
Yeah, if they can get like, it's interesting if they can get Haaland firing, which I don't think is going to be that hard a task for them to do.
It feels like City will run with it.
Yeah, I remember when they signed him, I was like, "That's it, that's the season done." Like they've
been beating everyone for the last 3 seasons without a striker.
With no striker. But they looked a bit iffy against Liverpool in the Community Shield. It
is going to be quite a big tactical change to go to more of a target man striker from like a guy who fit into the way that they press, and that's why that is why I'm really excited about Arsenal. He's brought in players that he knows completely fit his scheme, whereas Haaland's brought in. You can kind of mould any scheme around Haaland because he looks like to be a world-class player, but there's still going to be some sort of teething problems there, especially early. And it could be the points that they lose at the beginning of the season, which cost them at the end of the season with how tight it's been in the last couple of seasons. So if Haaland fires, it feels like it would be City, but I've got, just got a sneaky feeling Liverpool might do it this year. But I'll go Liverpool, City, and then 3rd. It's the first one of the season. I'm excited, so I'm going to put Arsenal at 3rd. I think we're going to do Chelsea.
Oh, he's going for it. Oh wow! Hang on. Okay. So my top 4, I had Spurs in there. Personally,
Spurs aren't in my top 4, and it's not just because I'm biased.
Josh could never put Spurs in his top 4.
No, I can say.
I've definitely got Spurs.
The man who scares me the most at Spurs is Conte. I think he's a fantastic coach. He scares me a lot. Then you've got Son and Kane, who are obviously unbelievable. Basuma was a great signing. Other than that, I don't think that team's that massively improved. I don't really like Longley at centre back. He wasn't that good at Barca. He wasn't getting many games at Barca, so I don't know how well he's going to come in. Don't trust the back line there. I think it's hard to win in the Premier League unless you have a really good defence. When Liverpool started to get good, it was because Klopp came in and the first thing he did was create a back 4.
Yeah.
As soon as he
solid
set his
backbone.
back four, they started winning. Spurs feel like they build from the front back. They haven't. I don't feel like they've massively improved the defense. As I said, I really like the Basuma sign. Well, that was a good signing, and he is going to help them. But I don't think they're going to be top four. I think Chelsea will be better than them, and I think Arsenal will be better than them.
I mean, Chelsea have signed half the league, so that kind of makes sense. They basically weakened the Sterling signing. I'm still baffled at Man City. They've sold a player who's the same age as Jack Grealish, who arguably probably delivers more for half the price they paid for Grealish. That makes to a rival. That makes no sense whatsoever to me. I think that's an incredible deal from Chelsea's point of view. I think it'd be great for Sterling as well. I think it'd be fantastic for Sterling.
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, for me, I had it. I had Arsenal fifth, but I don't know enough. Probably I haven't seen you enough in pre-season. But yeah, I had it. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, and then weirdly I had Man U in there. Man U were like my kind of sixth shout. Although I think
I can see West Ham doing Man U.
Yeah, West Ham kind
the
of
drop off really is like Man U drop off has not been a bit of a fall from grace. It's hard to play with Ronaldo. Every team he's gone to, they've been like he still gets goals, but they just aren't as good.
Are they going to play him now though? Are they going to play him now when he's come out saying he wanted to leave and all that stuff
You
happened?
can't not play him though, can you? Can you not play Ronaldo?
I think Ronaldo's ground his own, right? As in he got his third top scorer I think last season, which is actually insane.
Yeah,
but I think the team's worse with him. I think the team's not as good with him in it.
I agree. It was the same at Juventus. It was the same thing at Juventus. They were good the first season, and then they just looked like they struggled to play around him. Just quickly on the Italian league, I don't know if you follow any European football, but you see Dybala signed for Roma.
No.
An absolutely world-breaking, phenomenal transfer for Roma. Yeah, they got Paulo Dybala. Yeah, the Jose effect. But went to London in too long. I guess. Yeah, have you got your top four, Graham? Who do you reckon's top four?
I can't look past Man City with and well, if Pep's played without a centre forward for 2-3 seasons, whatever it is, he's not signed Haaland without thinking it through. And also, I read where he wanted and he needed to clear players out. He didn't want too many players of the same ilk who had been there too long. So I think Pep's good to go again. I think Phillips will make a difference. Massive season for Grealish. Needs to be starting big games, as we've talked about, James. So I can't look much past City. Spurs intrigue me. Usually with Conte's track record, this season he wins something. There'll be a trophy in the cabinet. I guess the thing that'll trip them up is if he falls out with Levy over whatever.
Which isn't that hard to do. It doesn't sound like
exactly. Exactly. But I think, and I think if, we talk about Jed Spence, and you and I spoke the other day about, they call Jed Spence a club signing and an investment. I think any player who plays and does as they're asked for Conte just flies. So I think he'll be. There'll be, but I can't. The top two you can't look outside Liverpool. I won't go into Liverpool too much. We'll know about Liverpool. And then my other one that I think will be fascinating, and I think will actually show improvement, is Ten Hag at Man U. They've now got a manager who surely they're going to give him his head, let him do what he needs to do. It looks like everything you read is he's changed things around with pre-season, the way players approach things, and what he's brought in, and I think that'll make an improvement. We talked about the Ronaldo sort of scenario, but I think Ten Hag he will be strong enough to kind of mould his own team and to stamp his own authority on things. And I think Eriksen's a massive signing for them. So I'm not going to say the top three. So I guess my top three are Man City, Liverpool. I'll throw Chelsea in there because they've signed everybody. This new owner seems to have done all the deals himself, so they've been very, very proactive. And I think Tuchel will be able to put a team together. Man U, and then I'm going to have to say Arsenal because you're here. But I
was about to put a call down because James has already put them above once.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really fascinating scene. I think also, I think the thing for me is I think yes, Man City and Liverpool will be the top two, but I don't think the gap will be as big as it was last season. I think the gap from Liverpool to Chelsea was it, or Man City to Chelsea, was it 19 points?
It's 20 points or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think it's going to be that
to Man U. No.
Yeah. No. I don't think it's going to be that.
But it does look like Arteta's getting his getting things together there. I think the others who could threaten that or get in there, I think West Ham might have kind of peaked for the last few. They're not signing players, and Moyes likes to take his time and sign the players, and I just think they've fallen a little bit behind. And Newcastle will come through and start challenging as well. So that's sort of from 6 to 8.
Absolutely anybody's guess there.
Yeah, I mean, literally six like 8th. I was going to say 8th to like 16th. It's so hard to choose all of that.
Yeah, there's no telling, but
I don't remember going into a season feeling like it's going to be this competitive for a very long time. For a very, very long time.
Yeah. There's been a hell of a lot of movement this summer. Like, usually Sky Sports have that like accumulation counter of how much they've spent. So it'll be interesting to see how that hits at the end of the month when the window closes. But I think top scorer. Who do people feel is going to be top scorer in the league this season? Or around
Haaland.
Oh, he's gone for Haaland. He's gone big on it.
You can see it's written in the stars. He's not had a centre forward for a couple of years. This guy's come in and he's just, Pep was saying on his podcast the other day, he's just, he's doing things in training that I, didn't think he was that good. So, and he will be on. He will be on. So I think there'll be a lot for him to sort of prove as well.
Last season was an interesting one because I think I heard the other day that there was only 2 players last season that scored over 20 goals, and that was Kane and Son. No one else scored that many goals. No, Salah and Son. Sorry. So which is pretty insane, really. Like usually there's a few strikers who get over 20, but I think Haaland's definitely like probably a banker, isn't he? Really, to get that.
Yeah.
It feels like Haaland will be over 20. It feels like Salah will be over 20, and I think Jesus will get over 20.
I was about to say that my dark horse for the top is possibly Jesus. I think he'll play every game. He will score a lot of goals.
He's been so clinical.
Yeah. Man City, however, they need to rotate. I mean, they've got Haaland, but they do have the option of not playing with a striker. So I think I don't think he'll play every match. That's my personal feeling. And you never know. It could be like 5 weeks in, he gets injured. Who knows? It's going to be a fascinating season.
It is.
Cool. I think that's it. I think we're wrapped up. I think that's our pre-season all done, all wrapped up. And best of luck to Arsenal. Best of luck to the Forest.
And you guys, Arsenal and Villa. Yeah.
And exactly. And I'll see you next time. So, guys, as always, if you love it, if you like it, give it a like. If you love it, give it a subscribe. And we'll see you next time.
Yep.
See you later.
See you guys. It's going to be fascinating. Bye.
Bye.
Cool. Right. And we're done. So.